Namaste, Namaskar. Good morning and good evening, my dear friends. A warm welcome to one and all of you to this motivational series. Not exactly motivational series. This is a series where we are consistently reviewing the various aspects of life. And life is like a glass, that you or a glass vessel or something that you hold in your hand. You got to hold it carefully. Even if you're washing, even if you're serving some dishes, you got to really hold it carefully. If you don't hold it carefully, the glass breaks or the glass crashes or a bit or a corner of its the container is basically broken and it's not fit to be used. Life is something like that. That's why we are giving due attention and due diligence to the various aspects of life that involves emotions, that involves managing your stress, that involves kind of overcoming the problems that you're facing in life. The most important objective is to build people as overcomers, because if you lack in that overcoming skill, you will be marching backward in your life. But any successor, all of us want to succeed in our lives, right? We want to be successful. People don't enjoy failures. At least I don't enjoy failures. But if you want to be there, you got to march forward in your life, and for which you got to be overcomer. Once again, a warm welcome and greetings to you. Today we are going to review a topic which is very very important. You need to consider this. The reason you will understand in a moment. Let go of things that holds you tightly, that grips you tightly, and that pulls you backward. Or let go of things that pulls you backward is the title. Now, what are these things? That is a important thing that we got to review, and this can be translated into multiple aspects or multiple nomenclatures, multiple attributes. But we want to handpick two or three things that is very common. You take on an average, any common man, you pick 10 people, you will find certain aspects very common. So what are those things? But before we get there, what is the definition of these things that hold you back? There are various practices, there are various experiences, there are various traditional experiences that we catch up from our forefathers, from our parents, from our grandfathers, and all that. And sometimes we tend to believe it blindly. Why? Because it's not to blame them, it's not that they were wrong, it's not that they were incorrect. But at that point of time, probably they lived with that practice 80 years ago and it was applicable, it was valid. But not necessarily in this new era, it is valid. Again, we got to carefully review that. Good example is India is a country known for tradition, and that tradition has taught us to respect elders, right? And 8 years ago, 100 years ago, many many centuries ago, when the elders come, if people belonging to a Hindu tradition, they really touch the feet and they kind of they do that namaskar or something like that. That's their tradition of kind of respecting the elders. People have various practices. Can we really abandon that kind of practice? No, that's a good practice. If your tradition is teaching you to respect elders in a subtle way, you need to catch it up. But likewise, the same elder who tells that bicycle is the best method of transportation 8 years ago or 100 years ago, four wheelers are very rare to find. Some of the big top shots like Tata, Birla, and all these guys used to have four wheelers. Majority people go by walk or by bicycle or even bullock carts and all that. Correct, no? Can we travel by bullock cart? In Bangalore, if I were to travel by bullock cart to my office, which is in electronic city, it will take a week's time. So only once in a week I would be able to go to office. Most of you will witness that. That too in the Bangalore traffic, forget it. In fact, that bullock cart ride itself will create traffic, and the police will catch you and you will say, "Come to the side" and all that. So what is applicable is what we should embrace. What is not applicable, we should let go gently, politely, with all due respect. I gave the concept here, right? I set the context here. Now, on an average, commonly, what are those things? Now we come back to the original title where we left. What are those things that we should not hold tightly and grip it to our hearts, or getting gripped to our hearts? And what are those things, when you grip it firmly, will make you march backward? Number one, offensive attitude. You know, this world is full of rage. More than rage, it is very rash. Why? Because no one has time. No one is given the time. It's not that people don't want to give time, but always everyone you see, they are under pressure. You look at IT people, corporate guys, always under pressure. Even if there is no pressure, they create pressure because they are much used to that kind of pressure based life or pressure oriented life. And that's why even in my team I see a lot of people, when they don't have work, hey, take off and relax, man. I don't know what to do taking off, something like that. So it's very hard to make people relax. That's where stress management is the key, and we did a session about that also. Anyway, so the point here is offensive attitude is the result of being very rash, being very impatient, always walking in that stress and pressure created by someone at some point of time for some reasons. You carry on with that pressure, right? Like a pressure cooker, all the time. Offense, these are the reasons. At the same time, the another reason for offense or offensive attitude is you disagree with almost everyone, and the reason is social media. Why? Facebook, Twitter, this, that, and what, Instagram. I don't have accounts in all these social medias. I have one account in Facebook, that also I use it very rarely. So the point is, it's an open forum, which is nice. In a democratic country, everyone should be given a chance to express their viewpoint. Nothing wrong. I'm all for it. I make a big salute to Facebook for that reason. Why? Because you're able to express. But the thing is, there is a mannerism to express, there is a timing to express, there is a need to express. Without a need, people express, without a timing, they express, and without any objective, they express, which is very wrong. And that is the reason why, when people disagree with you face to face, in an office environment, in a family environment, between parents and children, or among the siblings, what happens is this culture is persuading each other to ignore each other. No, not necessarily. In Facebook, people will ignore. Why? Because it's typing. You have only a laptop. You're talking actually to a laptop. Bunch of people, so there are certain people who take you for a troll, or certain people who take you for a fight, and all these things happens. But then you can ignore. You're not having a face-to-face conversation, and you don't have to see the person every day. But in a environment where you have to partner with somebody, where you have to work with somebody, you need to have that open mindset to accept feedback. But what happens in today's world, the contemporary world, is because of these kind of social media, which have really influenced people. Pros and cons both are there. I spoke about the plus and minus also, right? The minus is this: immediately people turn out to be offensive. No, I don't agree. Whether they express it or not, internally, implicitly, they don't agree. So and see, and a tool and an interface, web interface is different from a person, human being. If you don't agree, you really need to arrive on a common ground. I'm also side by side giving you the tips. Now, what happens is that offense really gets very tightly gripped in your heart. Each time you look at that person, you will remember in the background. What happens is that offensive situation, that offensive incident, no, it will only get reminded in your brains. And you will start disliking the person, you will start maintaining distance from that person. And what happens is there won't be productivity at workplace, there won't be productivity even in family. A good relationship, one has to really overcome this offensive attitude, otherwise it won't work. It will be really a spoil sport. People who are in administrative, executive leadership, administrative lines, they definitely will agree with me. All right. So this is definitely a common parameter that really pulls people backward. Instead of marching forward, they go backward. Because why? If you have to interact with 10 people, you're offensive with 8 people, you're already on the failing side. You will fail, because this world is designed. I am a strong believer of God. I believe God only created this world. God designed this world for people. Which means what? You got to learn to cope up with people, work with people, and enjoy the time with people, and not walk around with an offensive attitude. This will lead you to stress, and this will lead others also to stress. Because of you, there are 10 people, no? They will be joking and having all fun time. The moment you walk in, oh, this guy has come. Immediately, that offensive look. Right? All of you agree with me? Second is bitterness or grudge. It's a kind of a demonic attitude. Why? Bitterness and grudge leads you to not only offense, leads you to revenge or avenging, waiting for a chance to bite somebody. Like how actually snakes are better, they don't chase people. If you disturb the snake only, it will come and bite you. But then I have to use that example, unfortunately. um, you will be waiting, when can I bite somebody, when can I teach him a lesson, when can I express my rage. I'll wait for my chance. Very, very bad attitude. But unfortunately, a lot of people on an average, they get into this bitterness, and bitterness gets transformed to grudge, and grudge transformed to a revenging attitude, and revenging attitude can even end up in a bloodshed, and you will find yourself landing up in jail. But what was the root cause? Once upon a time you had that bitterness. Bitterness, multiple reason, or grudge, multiple reason. It could be accompanied by envy. The root cause for grudge or bitterness is envy. Competition is good, but competition without envying, without being jealous, without having that bitterness. Oh, he snatched my position, I was supposed to get that promotion, I worked for this company so long and so much. Look at this guy who came yesterday and all. He is more skilled. Why don't you admire? Why don't you accept it? Or if you don't like the company, quit. The employer is not holding you tightly and backward, right? A lot of people have quit and they've gone to another company. They got two levels more promoted, and they are very, very doing very well. So learn to accept the facts. Learn to accept the reality. Only that will resolve or help you to move away from this grudging attitude. Third important thing: gossip. It's very common among girls and among boys, among men, among women. It is very, very common. For some reasons, men are always obsessed to say that females only gossip. Who are men? I gossiped a lot. I am the witness that I gossip sometimes more than, sometimes in some positions, in some situations, I gossip more than any female in the world. Okay, clear. We all work in corporate office, banks, and this and that. We pick that coffee mug, we go to terrace, and we end up talking about everyone in that campus, right? What is happening is, I'll tell you the negative side or a consequence. First of all, you're wasting time, right? Secondly, you are a coward. I'll tell you why. Don't be angry with me. If you have that guts, the person whom you're gossiping, bring that person along with you, and then tell the person right on the face, why are you gossiping in somebody's absence? Because you do not have guts. Oh, no, no, actually, we have to pour out everything that is inside of us. Pour it out, but to the right person. Yeah, to the person about whom you are talking and with whom you want to deal the matter. Talk to him or her. Yeah, if you do that, you will not waste your time, you will not waste your emotions, you will not waste your energy. While gossiping, what happens? A lot of chemicals released from your body. You don't believe me? Google and see. All these chemicals will definitely induce cholesterol, bring all kind of kidney stones, gastritis issues, digestion problems or indigestion issues, acidity. You don't believe? It will induce stress. When you frown, all the muscles are really put on action. When you smile, there is not all the muscles are in action at the same time. Your body is relaxed. There are chemicals needed to promote hormone function in your body, and those chemicals release only when you're relaxed, only when you're happy, only when you're joyful, only when you really start to exercise this concept of love. Love means not going and spending some time in park and movies and all that. No, not about that lustful thing. That's very cheap. I'm not talking about that. Love means being very kind to one another. That's the expression of love. Helping one another, empathizing one another, right? And anything opposite to that is called as gossip. Gossip is nothing but which will lead you, which is the combination of complaining attitude, murmuring attitude, grumbling, all put together. No, it is called as gossip. What you observe and see, 30 minutes you gossip with somebody about someone, you will be doing all these three things: complaining, grumbling, murmuring, and finger pointing. All these are really unnecessary. It will only take you backward, and you are wasting time. Your employer will draw a graph and show, hey team, what's wrong with you? The productivity is down by 50%. Yes, All 10 people take their coffee mugs and they march upward, I mean towards the terrace or outside, and some people smoking and cigarette and all that. It is like that honey cake. Have you heard about honey cake? It will melt in your mouth. Ah, see, my mouth is watering already. Some people gossiping means mouth watering. Right? So you got to be very careful. Fourth thing is, where the last one, looking backward, I mean rewinding the tape. Many of us are experts in doing that. Past is past, just leave it behind. But sometimes it is very hard, someone hurt you very badly. Not possible at all to switch off the tape, or break the tape into pieces and burn it and throw it somewhere. Not possible, because why, the hurt is so bad. Very extreme cases, but not necessarily all of us go through that all the time. Correct? So we are experts in rewinding the tape. You know what this guy did 20 years ago? 20 years ago, it was 1980 or 2000, before even millennium started. You are still holding it. When I look at these people who are always sticking to the past, you know how I would picturize them in my heart. It's very funny. As if they go with a sack bag, they take all the garbage from the ditch or a trench, which is 1,000 years old garbage. Can you imagine the stench? And they take it very gladly, interestingly, they fill it within that sack bag. They put a knot of that sack bag and they carry it. While carrying it, they put a hunch. They'll be walking like this. And they love doing that for years. Rewinding the past, especially the things that are related to bitterness, grudge, complaining, gossiping, hurt, all this is like garbage. It won't help you at all. It will only pull you backward. And you picturize yourself as that man carrying that garbage sack wherever he goes. And wherever he goes, people will be able to smell the stench. Yeah, you will be stinking piece. Some people will run away. This guy, oh my goodness, he opens his mouth, he'll talk about the past. I don't want to waste my time. People will run away from you because you are a stinking piece. So you don't have to get yourself there. The reason is because you are spoiled sport to yourself. You're actually killing your time and emotions. It's not going to help you. Overcome that, move ahead, because the time has moved. You also need to move along with the time. It's only for your good. All right? I can go on with 20, 80, or 100 parameters. You definitely know who you are. I don't have to introduce, hey, come here, you know who is this guy. I cannot introduce you to yourself. Correct? You definitely know the real person, real who you are. Therefore, find ways and manage these things. Do not hold tight to things that takes you backward. Definitely hold on to things that helps you to march forward. And marching forward is a prime indication you embracing victory, you embracing success in life. All of you with me? Good. Please subscribe to our channel, and do not miss on any motivational videos that we are releasing. We put lot of efforts to bring this kind of content, bring this kind of material to your view. And therefore, share with your friends. Let others also benefit. And if you have any topics, reach out to me. I'm ready to help you out. Thank you once again for tuning up, and yeah, God bless you. Take good care of yourself. Right? In life, always learn to be joyful, and every problem has a solution. Nothing is impossible. Keep telling some 10 or 20 proverbs like this, you will feel better. Okay? Take care. You know a new proverb, let me know. I will also write it somewhere and start memorizing it. God bless you. Namaste.